Well, hello there, and you join us here today, presumably as a professional, to find out which the best watch is for you. These are the best watches for professionals. Whether you're looking for a professional or amateur watch, there are plenty to purchase over at watchfinder.com. Tom, you and I would consider to be very highly rated professionals in our industry, but of course it's not the only industry, and as highly rated professionals in our industry, I think it's our duty to inform others in their industry which part of our industry best aligns with their industry. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Excellent, let's get straight into it. What would you pick for a diver?
I have gone for the Omega Pro Prof, which is short for, or condensed version of, Plongeur Professionnel, which is French for professional plunger. Professional diver, obviously, and with a depth rating of up to 4,000 feet or 1,200 meters. This is only for the very most serious of divers. So yeah, in addition to its formidable depth rating, there's the very characteristic iconic pusher on the side of the case there, which locks the bidirectional diving bezel, has the automatic helium escape valve, which is absolutely essential, and comes with a brushed mesh shark-proof bracelet. Nothing says professional more than shark-proof, does it? You know that's gonna serve you well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely hardcore professional watch, the Omega Pro Prof.
You know, as a professional diver working on the mean streets of the underwater seas, that no shark will be able to steal this watch from you. It also has that whacking great big crown, which doesn't quite work as you'd expect. The crown pulls the crown in and locks it all down, keeps it very secure. And also as well, I'm pleased to see the particular model you've chosen, Tom, is titanium on titanium. So not only will you sink to the bottom, but you will hopefully be able to get back up to the top without having to leave your watch behind. So I've gone in a different direction, Tom. The dive watch I have chosen has only got 100 meters of water resistance. And you might think, piff, tishel, or whatever those words are. That is not enough for a professional diver, but let me tell you, 100 meters is absolutely fine. But what makes this particular dive watch extra special is within its 48.4mm titanium case, 16.3mm thick, is a mechanical depth gauge which will read all the way up to 50 meters. It will show you your maximum depth and your current depth with a flyback system when you are finished. It is actually, as a dive watch, pretty dang useful. So you know, it's 12 meters, that's some meters. I might do 15 meters as a dive professional. As you can tell, this is something I'm highly experienced with, so I know that this is probably going to be what you'd be looking for as a diver. Something
about, at a glance, what appears to be a very esoteric gauge or readout. It just looks very professional. It's not for every day, is it? This is a gauge that only professionals need. So you don't need to worry about it, but I need it. To borrow the pirate's favourite letter and go from diver to driver, Tom, what would you equip your racing man with? My professional carman would need the Tag Heuer Monaco. This is another absolute icon, the world's first square and waterproof chronograph. Never have those two been put together before, and never so deftly as how Tag Heuer have done it with the Monaco. They put the crown on the left. You don't want to get distracted from your driving by winding your watch, so the crown's on the opposite side. The automatic movement's going to do all the winding for you, so that's cool, that's still there. This watch was worn by the king of cool, Steve McQueen, and to paraphrase Outcast, what's more professional than being cool? Nothing, is how I believe that one goes. Tom, this Tag Heuer Monaco is the epitome of motorsport cool, isn't it? Monaco, the heart of racing. Tag Heuer connected with motorsport sponsorship from the very beginning. A professional race boy doesn't need to be timing himself. He's got people back at the garage to do that. They're going, 7, excellent, well done. Yeah. This guy just wants to get out of the car and look absolutely racing cool, and this does that to the greatest degree possible. Tom, I'm going to throw you for a little bit of a loop, really, for my driver's watch, because this is the Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch, and you might think, well, they didn't drive to the moon, they flew there? Yeah. Actually, the Speedmaster was originally invented as a driver's watch.
towards the tail end of the 50s, with motorsport becoming a much more prevalent profession and industry, the previous chronographs used were very small, very demure. The tachymeter bezel, which you can use to measure speed and many other things from, was on the inside of the watch, quite hard to read. So they created a larger watch, clearer to read, with the tachymeter bezel on the outside, specifically for racing drivers. Hence Speedmaster. Not only that, but it has been said that this watch has been worn on the moon too. And who cooler than a racing driver is there on this earth than an astronaut? So it's a bit of a 2 for the price of 1 for your racing driver. Gives them something to time their laps with, but also something aspirational for them to aim to achieve in a future career.
Yeah, if it was good enough for the astronauts, legible and readable and functional enough for them to navigate their space shuttle and still keep good time, then it should be good for you in your Citroen, I would imagine.
At no point did Buzz Aldrin say, "I can't read the time, if only I was in my car." It was suitable all round. Tom, moving quickly on, we're talking about the drivers of the air. Yes, pilots. What watch would they be wearing, according to you?
Well, the clue's in the name with this one. This is the Big Pilot's Watch 43 from IWC. This is the original military-inspired design with that oversized conical crown, or dare I say iconical? I think I shall. Its appearance is based on pure functionality. There's nothing fancy about it. Cockpit instrument designed, pure readability, and it's got that cracking IWC manufactured caliber inside as well.
Originally created as the Big Pilot's Watch, I think in a modern world perhaps we need to move on. Maybe it's the plus size Pilot's Watch, but never mind, because it is the watch that is readable, usable, rugged. I am very impressed with your choice there, Tom. You are a true professional watch chooser.
Thank you.
However, I think I've chosen better, because I have gone for the Breitling Navitimer. This is a watch that's been created not just so pilots can read the time, but also so they can do many, many complex calculations, like how long should we leave the passengers before we serve them their food, and how long should we stay on the tarmac before we open the doors. All of those very important calculations that are required to make a flight as uncomfortable as possible. You need to calculate those down to the second. I'm sure there are some other calculations they do with them, but I'm no airplane person, so I'm going to hazard a guess and say that it is capable of doing all of those things. Fuel, speed, going up and going back down again. You could do all of that with a little twist of the bezel. Specifically designed for all of that. The person who was in charge of Breitling at the time, back in the 50s when this thing came about, Mr. Willie Breitling, was asked by the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association to make such a watch for them, and he obliged.
Yeah, and a bang-up job he did of it as well. Not as legible as the IWC. There's lots and lots going on, but still very readable, very functional. That crinkle cut bezel is just very standout Breitling, isn't it? It's a fantastic watch, and I think just in wearing it, you just would exude, some kind of importance, which is what we want from our watch, really, isn't it?
Exactly, as long as people know you are a professional of some description. Speaking of very professional people, Tom, we've been through the glamorous driving, piloting, divings, but really the people who make it all happen, they're the scientists, the unsung heroes of making my iPhone go beep boop in the right way. What would you be furnishing their wrist with?
So I've gone for a Bell & Ross, the BR0394 multimeter, specifically for people that need to measure all of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of it, Andrew.
Yeah, well, science encompasses most things, so that feels appropriate.
Well, if you need to measure all of it, this multimeter has got you covered. In 42mm matte black ceramic, the multimeter is intended for measuring short times with the 30-minute chronograph counter, and then 5 coloured tracks around the dial which allow you to measure other things. You've got 1 pulsometer, 1 anemometer, and 3 tachymeters. It is limited to 500 pieces, but I think that's probably more than the amount of people that actually need it. So it should work out. But it's actually, I think it's just an awesome looking watch. That iconic, again, another iconic square case, screwed down case with Bell & Ross's big screws in each corner, matte black ceramic, and all those different gauges popping off on the dial. It's really cool and understood and needed by very few people, hence the limited edition.
Tom, I really did a little bit of brain scratching here to try and think, what is it that a scientist really needs? And I imagine that they do lots of calculations. So I thought, what better than to furnish a scientist with a calculator on the wrist? So not only do you have the time and a handy alarm function and calendars and other such things, as well as water resistance, you can do your little sums on the fly. So when you're going, how many 20 microns divided by 1,000 black holes? You can do that on this watch. I genuinely think this will be a useful watch for a scientist, even if they get to the till and they're trying to tot up the total amount of the food they bought to make sure they can spend it all with a tenner that they have.
Yeah, when you're going around begging for funding, you probably don't want to show up with a Bell & Ross. So I think...
To move on from a fluff nonsense job to something that really matters. Musicians are the energy that makes the world turn, and as such they need an appropriate watch. Tom, what have you chosen for them?
For our professional musician, I've gone for the Brenner Core. This is perfect for a musician because it's more than just a watch. It's also a metronome that vibrates, so you can feel it. Strap it on your wrist and you can feel the tempo. And you can handily set the tempo and the time signature with a twist of the bezel, which is very cool. The case is polycarbonate and stainless steel, and it's magnetic, so it attaches to the strap and then can easily be detached and then stuck on the end of your guitar as a contact tuner. It has a dB meter alarm, so it helps protect your ears, and that will go off if things are getting too rocking. And it's also a smartwatch, so you get all your notifications from your phone, and you can look like a professional musician, even if you're not.
Tom, you've actually made a sensible suggestion there. This seems like a really good watch for those the musical types, the creative types who have all the rhythm of a dead cricket. I've gone for a slightly more superficial approach with my watch. My assumption is that the musician in question is very successful and has earned the money to buy an Audemars Piguet. This is the Royal Oak Offshore Music Edition, which was created specifically for a music industry that has done so well by Audemars Piguet. You'll notice that the tapisserie dial has been split up into lots of lovely little colours, which reflect the sound graph of a professional music maker as they plug the tunes into the screen.
Yes.
That's the first thing. There are also knurled links, which represent the connecting points for the cabling that a musician uses to connect their instrument to the sound maker, Tom. And then, of course, the crown guards, which represent the sliding levers, if you will, upon the desk of switch that is made to do some music. This is the people who know, not everyone knows like we do, but the people who know. And that's what makes this particular watch special for a musician.
I think you said one thing right there. But yes.
Music.
Lovely details on this watch. I do actually admire the little nods to the mixing desk and the studio environment and stuff. And I think if you are a producer or an audio engineer and you've got a group coming in, you're going to want to instill them with confidence that you are, you know what you're doing, and you want a watch that conveys that you're a professional and you're experienced. Yeah, and you don't want to look like a poser. So this is the perfect watch for that, I think. Now,
not every job is as fun as being a musician. Some jobs you have to shoot people for a living. And for our military corner, we have chosen what watch, Tom?
For my army man, I have chosen the redesigned Mudman GW9500 from GShock, built to explore. It's very large, Andrew. In 3 colours: rescue orange, military green and tactical black. This watch is designed to withstand extreme conditions with its bioresin based case. It's ultra strong. You've got that fantastic carbon core technology from GShock, as always. But you've got a lot of functionality in this watch, more than your regular GShock. You've got pressure sensor altitude meters, weather pattern display, calendars, alarms. It runs on an ultra reliable solar power. This is a serious mother. If you are in any kind of profession where your wrist might take a bump, then put this on and whatever bumped it will be destroyed. I guarantee it.
The enemy won't know what hit them. I've gone for a kind of a different approach, equally rugged and reliable, but a mechanical choice. This is the Seiko SKX, the one that's been there through thick and thin for many, many people, inspired by the great watches that served our soldiers and many other soldiers during various wars. Affordable, reliable, water resistant, turning bezel, all of those details, all packaged up into one great watch. Like your watch, in fact, Tom, G-Shocks and Seikos have really been the go-to for the military, the armed forces, and you can really see why. You can't imagine them getting into a ruck with the enemy wearing a Richard Mille, can you? Even if it does have a little pill dispenser in it. These two are really where it's at. Tom, let's say our military man, on one of his breaks, decided to go mountain climbing. What watch would he wear then?
So for our mountain person, I've gone for the Canford from Elliot Brown, the Mountain Rescue Edition. So this watch is in support of mountain rescue in England and Wales. It's a very outdoorsy watch. The Swiss-made Ronda Quartz movement is housed in a steel and elastomer damped shock-absorbing movement holder inside the case. The knurled crown is triple sealed. There are bold hour battens and bright white hands with superluminova for maximum readability. The rubber strap is designed to withstand extremes in temperature, and the inner timing bezel has bold triangular markings. So, as Elliot Brown themselves say, this is a hard-as-nails outdoor watch, which is the perfect mix of luxury and utility. And everyone sold contributes £36 to the Mountain Rescue England and Wales. So, even if you're not a professional mountain rescuer, you can chuck them some bunts by buying this watch, which will help get someone down from a mountain, probably.
Tom, I have chosen a more technical solution to the mountaineering problem of getting stuck up a big hill. This is the Apple Watch Ultra, which has many, many features for orienteering. It allows you to put down waypoints. It's very waterproof. It has various different radio antennae to find you if you get lost. And that's the important thing here. You've got a very loud siren that you can set off if you get stuck, or you can call for help. And the reason I chose this watch is because just yesterday I saw an advert for it where a man gets stuck up a mountain and then uses the Apple Watch Ultra to call in a helicopter rescue team to save him. So, since when have adverts lied? Exactly, never, which is why I would recommend this to any professional mountain person. Tom, from the mountain to the boardroom, as is often the case, you're businessman, you're professional. Your man on the buy, sell. What watch is he wearing when he makes those decisions?
Buy. Hello. Yes, the businessman. I have gone for a Mondaine watch, the original by Mondaine. This is inspired by the renowned Swiss railway clock. And I think there's a certain amount of gravitas that comes with that design cue. There's a real nice purity to this design. It feels intensely focused. And I feel like that attribute of the watch, those attributes of that watch would rub off on the wearer. You know, it's clear, it's balanced, it's smart, yet subtly elegant. And I think as a businessman, that's the sort of, that's what you want to exude yourself. What's the saying, you know, wear the watch you want, not for the watch you job. You feel me?
Absolutely. You want to explain to people who you are and what you do without them having to ask. And what better way to tell them that you are someone who gets down to business, that you don't muck about with deadlines, than a watch that is literally inspired by one of the most accurate railway systems in the world. I've taken a similar tack, but gone in a slightly different direction. I am also talking about what does it mean to be a businessman, and how do you express yourself? How do you present yourself to the world so that they know that you are very good at being a businessman? And I have gone for the Rolex Daytona.
Good.
Not because of any of its timekeeping capabilities, nor its heritage even, or its comfort, or affordability, or otherwise, but because when you're a businessman, you need people to know that you are a successful businessman. And what better way to show that than having one of the world's most desirable and most grossly disproportionately expensive watches compared to RRP in the world? If you're wearing a Daytona, people will go, oh, he has no imagination, but a lot of money. He must be in finance.
Absolutely. The top salesman doesn't show up riding a bicycle. He shows up riding a Daytona.
Very wise words indeed. But Tom, it's not all high-flying business. Sometimes there is bioterrorism to take care of. And for the Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance, you need an adequate watch to do the job. I don't take this lightly, Tom. What have you chosen?
Yeah. We need a watch for our unsung heroes, those Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance agents. This is the new Seiko Astron collab with Resident Evil Death Island, the new movie in the franchise, which features all your favourite BSAA agents. Chris is the green one, and Leon is the blue one. But what they lack in personality, they make up for in their professionalism, which is what this is all about, damn it. So there is 2 signature Seiko Astrons for Chris and Leon, both in black titanium case and bezels, Lumibright hands and markers for instant time recognition during low light missions. The bracelet makes use of a short link pinch to better fit the arm, ensuring stress-free wear even when wielding a weapon in mid-combat. So peace of mind if you are a BSA agent. I'm sure you're not. As well as all the other incredible functionality of the Astron. It really is an amazing watch. You've got a perpetual calendar, a well-timed function with 39 time zones, and the amazing GPS signal reception function, which automatically adjusts your time zone via satellite. It even has a satellite acquisition status display on it. So incredible watch for a fictitious profession.
Tom, I think the big question that is on everyone's lips here that I will communicate to you now is how much space will it take up in my inventory?
Just a mere 1 slot, same size as an egg. So yeah.
Sold. Tom, I think that perhaps your choice is a touch demure, so I have chosen to go with the Timewalk Creations Zymosis Lockdown Watch. And as you'll see, it is an absolute maelstrom of various different activities that a Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance agent might find themselves combating. You can think of it almost as a medallion for your achievements in the field of bioterrorism security. You'll see on one side of the watch a variety of agents all geared up in their bioterrorism headwear, and on the other side the creatures that have evolved from such careless bioterrorist activities. In between, a bloodshot door locking down the 2 people from one side and the other. It's a representation of the security and the hard work that these people have done to keep us safe.
That's completely mental. I love it.
And really now, Tom, we are going to move on to the profession that really I don't think gets enough love in this world. You hear about the fame of racing drivers and astronauts and the musicians, they get all of the glory. But really, these people get none of it. That's right, I'm talking about the pizza delivery drivers. Tom, what would you be furnishing those hard-working individuals with today?
My pizza delivery person would need to be a master of their craft, because this watch is only issued to the very best Domino's employees. This is a Rolex Air King Domino's mashup commemorative edition freaky watch. I'm not sure entirely what the parameters are behind it, but legend has it that If you hit your sales targets consecutively, then you will be awarded this special commemorative Rolex Air King with the Domino's logo emblazoned on it, either on the dial or on the bracelet. But you can forego the blood, sweat and tears of having delivered that many pizzas and just buy one pre-owned from Watchfinder if you want that accolade.
Tom, I believe this is awarded to the chain that has managed to get away with putting the least amount of topping on a pizza without getting any formal complaints for it, thus saving the business a lot of money. So if you ever wonder why your pizza seems to be lacking on the cheese front, it's probably because someone's after the goal of a Domino's Air King. Tom, thinking about the average salary of a pizza delivery person, I have taken it down a little bit from the Rolex to the Mr. Jones. This is the zombie pizza, and you'll see it's no ordinary pizza because the toppings are made up of various different gooey things like intestines, eyeballs and a severed finger. Some of those different aspects of the pizza make up the time-telling components of the watch. I will leave it to the owners to discover which those are, and for everyone else I'll leave it to their imagination.
Yeah, lovely. It also looks like something a BSAA agent might wear on their day off while they're enjoying some pizza.
So there you have it. Those are some of the most renowned professions in the world and the watches that we think they should be wearing. Which watches and professions would you be advising on? Let us know down in the comments below. Please do like and subscribe as well. And if you've got a watch to buy or sell, check out watchfinder.com. Goodbye.